More huge breaking news coming out of Tottenham Hotspur then as the transfer window rolls on. And it's never going to be a normal day when it comes to Tottenham and the transfer window. Some ins and actual, quite a shocking surprise, a potential outgoing, which we're going to have to discuss whether this is a good idea for the player. Because I, for one, think this player should not be leaving Tottenham Hotspur. There's a massive hijack as well on the cards. Tottenham looking to grab a player off another European giant. And the very latest on Morgan Gibbs-White's transfer to Tottenham. Is it happening? Will it ever happen? I bloody hope so. But before we go any further, if you are new to the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel and you're just discovering me watching this video right now, then get down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also, who else would you want to sign? Who do you want to sign this summer? Get in the comment section and let me know those names, because we can have a little conversation as soon as this video goes live. And stay tuned to the very end, because I would love that for all you guys to know all the latest when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur. But you might be wondering, who is the player that Tottenham want to hijack? Well, it's a player from a team where their defensive line is getting ripped apart. Bournemouth, they've already let go of Dean Howson to Real Madrid. Milos Kerkez has gone to Liverpool. And now it looks that Zabarny is on his way out of Bournemouth. First of all, it looked like he was going to PSG. That was what the rumour was. But it looks like now the rumour is that Tottenham have got an interest in him. But they would have to pay around 70 million euros, I think, for his signature. And it does make you think about Tottenham's sort of makeup when it comes to the defence and who they've got currently at the moment. And as we can see, it is at the moment Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero. Christian Romero, it doesn't look like Atletico Madrid are going to lodge a bid for him. But we know that these two players are very injury prone. We've brought in Kota Takai, Kevin Danzo became a permanent, Luka Vuskovic is now at the club, Ashley Phillips is there. Did one of them get loaned out? And Zabarny would want to start ideally. He's a very good Premier League defender and has played a lot of minutes for Bournemouth over the last few seasons. I, for one, really like the deal. It's a lot of money. Are we going to pay it? And would he rather pick us over PSG? I mean, it's quite funny that, you know, Zabarny could be playing for either us or PSG come the 13th of August when we play each other in the UEFA Super Cup. But I like the idea of Zabarny. I think it is a good signing, but I can't see it happening really if you actually boil it down, because he'll want, you know, guaranteed start in game time. Does he necessarily start? Will he, you know, he's more likely to join if we sell Christian Romero, but I don't know what's going on with his future. I've read reports that Thomas Frank ideally wants him to stay at the football club. But yeah, quite interesting actually. But you have to let me know in the comments down below. Would you want to sign Zabarny? Now to the outgoing. And again, this source is, I'm not really too sure about it, but I want to get your guys' opinion on it. Borussia Dortmund would like to sign winger Mikey Moore from Tottenham. What could become a problem? Spurs have a new coach in Thomas Frank under Ange Postecoglou's successor. The cards are being reshuffled among the squad, and that's according to Bild. Apparently, Tottenham could be keen to loan Mikey Moore out this summer, but I mean, I don't think Mikey Moore would want to leave Spurs. Boyhood Spurs fan. I mean, we all know that Dortmund is a good career path and a progressor for young, especially English players. You've got to look at Jadon Sancho, both the Bellingham brothers. They did really well at that club. Jamie Gittins, who's just left Dortmund to go to Chelsea. But I'm not really sure. I feel like we'd keep him. I know we're getting a lot of attackers in, but I still think you'd get a lot of minutes under Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank, you know, loves young players who he could improve, who he can get the most out of. We saw glimpses of Mikey Moore last year, and what I don't get from that is they want to reshuffle the pack. Well, Ange Postecoglou didn't really use him all that much. A couple of Europa League cameos, and I think he played the first half against Crystal Palace early on in the season last year. So, yeah, not sure about that one, but I guess, you know, these random transfers, you never know. Another one that's quite interesting is Tottenham are among several Premier League clubs interested in signing Ardon Jashari from Club Brugge. Now, really good up-and-coming player. Really like the look at him. Think he would be a massive pickup for whoever gets him this summer. I really like the idea of this transfer. But again, it's one of those ones, not from the most reliable sources, but, you know, one that really pricked my interest that I wanted to talk about. Another that's quite good, Yoane Wissa. Now, Yoane Wissa being heavily linked with a move to Newcastle, but there's reports from TalkSport saying that despite Newcastle showing interest, Wissa would love to come and play under Thomas Frank at Tottenham, you know, where he thrived very well. But the thing with this transfer is Mbeumo has just left Brentford to go to Manchester United. You've had Christian Norgaard's left to go to Arsenal. Thomas Frank's left. They've got in Keith Andrews. You know, if they get rid of Wissa and Mbeumo in one summer, that's 40-odd goals that they've lost out of, because that's what they scored last season. I mean, Wissa would be a good option, but we'd have to sell Richarlison. Actually, Richarlison being linked with a move to Palmeiras. You know, if we can move him on for a little bit of a fee. I mean, Wissa would be a good option to have. I mean, would he start? He'd ideally want to start him, and I think he would want to as well. But for his age and profile, I think he's a great option to come off the bench. I wouldn't say no to that. But Newcastle, I can imagine, you know, we're not getting Ekatike, and, you know, Isak potentially leaving next summer. That's one to watch out for. Another player who I wanted to speak about was the future of Heung-Min Son. Ben Jacobs last night on the Last Word of the Spurs saying that the club will sit down and decide his future after the pre-season tour of Asia. I mean, this is the thing with all these winger links. It does depend on you know, Son's future. Does he go? Does he stay? Obviously, when the tour's done, he's the face of our tour when we tour Asia. So it'll be interesting to see if some of these deals are done afterwards. I mean, there's still rumours that Xavi Simons is on Tottenham's radar. I guess that depends on the Morgan Gibbs-White deal. There was a link to Kaishū Sano, which was interesting, and Scalvini. So those were very good. But one player I want to talk about before I talk about Morgan Gibbs-White and the latest on that is Tottenham have genuine interest in Joao Gomes from Wolves. Now, this is a player that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. I said I wouldn't mind signing Adam Wharton, Carlos Paleba, obviously, Angelo Stiller, but then I said Joao Gomes would be a good option. But again, Wolves, are they going to sell Cunha, Aït-Nouri and Joao Gomes in one summer? I don't think so. But, you know, it's good to see that Tottenham are putting some feelers out about some players, because I think that would be a really good acquisition. And then, you know, Morgan Gibbs-White. Now, where are we with this at the moment? So, currently the player's still keen to join Tottenham. They have offered him a new deal that he's not likely to sign, but it looks like this is going to happen next week. But will we get a conclusion? Because there's just, you know, we're over a week now since the transfer was confirmed. Here we go. But there's been nothing said since, and it is getting kind of ridiculous when we sit here and look at, you know, all the transfer relations, and it's frustrating, because I think, you know, we got our first pre-season game, Tottenham versus Reading, on Saturday, and you'd love Morgan Gibbs-White to play in this game, but alas, he's not there. But we get to see Kudus hopefully get some minutes. Takai might get a start as well. So, you know, there's a good squad being built, and Tottenham are still looking at different signings, and we're only like, you know, nearly towards the end of July, but we've got the whole of August to get some transfer dealings in. So I'm not too worried about Tottenham in that regard. But I feel, yeah, Zabarny, Gomes, Morgan Gibbs-White, I feel like that'd be a very good summer. I mean, I still think, you know, that 6 is a priority. Could be good depending on who we move on and bring in. And then you've also got the likes of, you know, maybe a backup left back to help out on that side of the pitch with Destiny Udogie. I mean, you've got Jed Spence, but maybe you want to fight for the right back slot. But yeah, it's a very interesting time for Spurs. I feel like the window is going in the right direction, and I feel like we're doing all the right things. So yeah, I'm very happy with how it's going so far. But you're going to have to let me know in the comments down below, who should we be signing this summer? Is there any names in particular that I haven't mentioned? What about those, you know, niche names that maybe you haven't heard of or I haven't heard of? What do you reckon of them? And as always, leave your likes, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and until next time, up the Spurs, and I'll see you guys pretty soon for another video. Ciao.